Now, to help us reflect on this year's festival, we're joined on Zoom by its CEO, Monica Newton. Monica, a very good morning to you. Welcome to Morning Live. Good to see you again. I suppose we should start with reflecting. How would you sum up how COVID-19 and the lockdown affected you and the team between, 2019 and 2021?
It was a really difficult time. We had a very short amount of time to pivot and to take all of our work digitally, which we did in 2020. And then we were planning it for live in 2021, and another tightening of regulations forced us once again to go online. But one of the extraordinary things was how well the arts adapted to this new environment, how creative and innovative the artists and the technical crews and the creatives were. But of course, in 2022, being back live and being at full capacity felt like a gift, really something to celebrate.
What are some of the lessons that came with being forced to go the hybrid route in the years?
Well, I think not all work translates well online. You really have to think about what your digital audience is doing, the kind of work that's being produced for digital work. Equally, and it's been proven to be true across the world, the revenues from live work far exceed online work. So we still need to find a way to properly monetize, I guess, those kinds of platforms. But there are also incredibly innovative artists who work purely online in the digital arts domain. So there are artists that are blazing a trail in this world, and we need to create platforms for them. So another big lesson for us was that the National Arts Festival will continue to have an online iteration of itself, and we do have a program this year, a more modest one than in the past, but it runs until the 31st of July. So if you did miss out in Makhanda, please drop into nationalartsfestival.co.za and see what we have to offer you online.
And I suppose the other question is, the bigger impact on 2 years of not working on the artistic community.
It was enormous. Lives were lost, livelihoods were lost, opportunities, creative work. We lost institutions. It was dramatic and tragic and terrible. There's no question that we will feel the scars of 2020 and 2021 for some time to come. And I think as we go forward, there's a real opportunity for us to think about the arts sector that we need, that we think about how all of the pieces come together to really create an arts community that grows and thrives. And what was so incredible in 2022 was how grateful artists were to be performing in front of live audiences, how audiences were so receptive to the work. It really felt as though we realized that we all need each other for the arts to work in a very new and real way.
I can imagine. We're just looking at the graphic now of the jazz program, and that's usually one of the biggest attractions to National Arts Festival. And you pulled in Tutu Puane, all the way from Belgium. She came home for that performance. How would you sum up the amount of work that had to go into making sure that, this year's festival is a success, and it almost feels like people weren't really gone for those 2 years?
Well, the most important thing was to have the live festival. Despite some of the uncertainties, despite a lot of complexities relating to the costs of commodities and fuel and flight availability and stage 6 load shedding, the most important thing was that we did it. Because I think fundamentally, the ability to now go back to full capacity is our first opportunity to really rebuild and to regrow and to reshape what we want our arts sector, and of course the National Arts Festival to be as we head to our 50th. So it was a really incredibly important thing for us to do, was to learn how to host a festival while in a pandemic, because I think the pandemic is still with us. Government is warning us that it is not gone, and that is our personal responsibility to make sure that we keep each other safe and that we keep ourselves safe. And that's really how we need to go forward, is to really present events where people can feel comfortable, people can choose to wear masks or not, and we go back to some kind of semblance of what we had before, but hopefully better, hopefully different, hopefully having learnt how important all the elements of collaboration and live experience are.
What were your thoughts on the young artists? I mean, they are also a big part of every festival. How would you sum up their different performances?
As always, the Standard Bank Young Artists are an incredible cohort of young artists who are at the absolute cutting edge of their careers. Cara Stacey and her incredible collaborative opportunity, Buhlebeze and her unbelievable work that speaks to strength and tradition. Thandu Doni also told a story this year which is very, very topical in the Eastern Cape. So Eastern Cape audiences really responded incredibly well. We also had Vuma Levine, amazing jazz performer, doing 2 performances, and Gavin Craston, a performance artist, and of course based in Makhanda. So we had quite a lot of opportunity to see his work as it evolved, because it involved quite a lot of work in public space. So every now and then a member of the public would tell us where Gavin was and what he and his incredible team of gnomes were doing. So it was again a wonderful opportunity to host the Standard Bank Young Artists live. And in the jazz program, there were also former Standard Bank Young Artists, as there always are for jazz, who joined Vuma and others performing. So it really was a homecoming as well for the Standard Bank Young Artists.
And how do you ensure that each year is a bit different? Because I imagine you're already planning for 2023. I mean, you've already hit the ground running.
Absolutely. Everybody takes a deep breath after the first festival and starts planning for the next one. So yes, our calls will start going out soon. So artists, if you're listening, please keep an eye on that. But I think fundamentally, we're scaling ourselves to growth. We are scaling ourselves heading towards our 50th anniversary. And I think the lessons that we've learned this year have been quite profound about what is still out there, the creativity of artists, the incredible depth and diversity of work we're able to offer. And of course, in 2023 and 2024, we hope also to offer more substantive international programs, as hopefully things just become a little more predictable as we head into the next couple of years.
And I mean, I want to talk about your team as well. I mean, you've got Zikona, you've got Sasha in there. I mean, speak to us about the role they play in ensuring that you have a successful festival, Nobesutu as well. You've got Kay Musian in there, as well as Nisi. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, they are the most extraordinary group of people. What I'm learning about this festival team is they've never met a problem that they can't solve, and they've never met a performance that they don't love. And that's really what is so clear, the passion for the arts really drives them forward. And the festival is an enormous machine. It takes a nation to raise the National Arts Festival, and there's no question that the extraordinary team, Rusera, Nikki, Nobesutu, Z, Kay, and of course hundreds of other technicians, creatives, gallery assistants, box office staff, front of house services, all make the National Arts Festival what it is, not to mention, of course, Village Green and Selena White and her team creating the best possible platform for our vendors and crafters in Makhanda as well.
And what lessons came with hosting this year's festival?
It's very, very hard on the feet. So wear comfortable shoes. That's probably the most important lesson. But I think fundamentally is that the festival is about arts, but it's also about audiences. And I think the incredible thing that came from this is, once again, our partners, our collaborators were with us: Standard Bank, Distel, Eastern Cape Province, National Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, Sarabatman District, Eastern Cape Parks and Tourism Authority, a new partner, Eastern Cape Development Corporation, was with us for a film program. So it's really wonderful that we have long-term partners who continue to support us, and hopefully we can make that circle bigger as we go forward into the next couple of years. But fundamentally, live is back. And if anybody believes and loves the arts, please go out, buy a ticket, buy a book, go to the cinema. We need our audiences back, and we need your support.
And on a personal note, you've been in this position since 2020. Have you fully grasped, how enormous this task has been in the past couple of years?
I have now. The Live Festival was a significantly different event than our last two digital festivals. And so it was extraordinary to see the team at work in their comfort zone, doing what they know and what they love. And that was incredibly inspiring. But of course, it is a live event. There are hundreds of things that happen in any given day that influence how the festival proceeds, that change how we make decisions. Of course, we had incredible support as well from our security cluster, SABC, traffic services, fire department were with us as well, and that was a very interesting interface to kind of also see how all of those services help us to keep people safe. And yeah, the most important thing as well, I think, for the city of Makhanda is that the festival is back live. There's an opportunity to once again host people from all over the country and all over the world. And that's been something that the city has missed sorely over the last couple of years.
And you've got a couple of festivals ahead as well. I mean, the Sci-Fest, you've got Mandela Bay Arts Festival. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Sci-Fest Africa is the National Science Festival. It's from the 7th to the 13th of September. So we'll be welcoming in speakers from around the world, exhibitions, workshops, demonstrations. It's a really, really great festival that celebrates this year basic sciences. So chemistry, physics, and everything that makes the sciences what they are, and hopefully also promotes them as viable careers to a new cohort of science leaders from across the country. And Mandela Bay Arts Festival, 23 September to 1 October, a new festival that we're doing in partnership with Mandela Bay Metropolitan and Municipality. And we're so excited to be working in Gqeberha and surrounds with a new festival that's very much for the city, about the city, and will present work from Mandela Bay-based artists. So that's going to be a great opportunity. And the festival remains busy for the whole year. So watch this space. We always have something going on.
Yeah, and obviously we can't close off the festival without talking about the, Standard Bank Ovation Awards. How did that go? What was your reflection on that?
Well, the Ovation Awards are really a wonderful way to celebrate excellence and innovation on the fringe. And these artists are the most entrepreneurial. They come to one of the biggest gigs around and they present their work brought by themselves on risk. They are the most cutting edge. They are the hustlers of our world. They bring their work, they present it to audiences, and the Standard Bank Ovation Awards are a lovely opportunity for us to really recognize their work in a wonderful ceremony that happened on Saturday, our last Saturday of festival, and it was just so joyous. You could see everybody was thrilled to be there, to be with each other, to celebrate each other's excellence, and we're really pleased to say that quite a number of the works are already in discussion with some of the theatres and festival programmers who always attend, so hopefully we'll see those works elsewhere too.
All right. Monica Newton, always good to have you on the program. Thank you so much for talking to us. She's the CEO of the National Arts Festival, helping us look back at the 2022 edition, which saw the festival return to its traditional full live format after 2 years of hybrid and digital events. The National Arts Festival took place in Makhanda from the 23rd of June. It ended on the 3rd of July.